Hey, this is Rick from Hiking Emergency Beacon, and today I want to do a review comparison review between my new GPS map, the Garmin GPSMAP 66i. It's an inReach product, versus my Garmin inReach Mini 2, which is the same as the Mini, just it's it's got newer functions. And then I also want to compare it to the Garmin inReach SE Plus and the Garmin inReach Explorer Plus. But before we get into all that, please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as I put out a new video. All right, so here's all three. The 66i, and I'm going to put some screenshots up here, all like I always do. Here's the SE Plus, which is the same size as the Explorer Plus. And then, if I can do this, I've got the Mini 2, which is the same size as the Mini. And you can see that the 66i, the SE Plus, and the Explorer Plus are all the same size. They actually do a lot of the same things. The difference here right now is when you compare it to the Mini or Mini 2, it's about twice as big. The 66i is about twice as big, about the same thickness, the width is a little bit less on this. It's about twice as heavy, right? Here's some differences though, and I'm going to put some information up on the specs on this. The very first thing I think you should all be aware of is the battery life. To always check battery life on these, and I actually did not check the battery life on this when I bought it. I was assuming, because I was talking to customer service, Garmin customer service, and I was talking to them about if a new Garmin inReach Explorer Plus was coming out, and they didn't have any information on that, or none that they would share. But they said, hey, you should look at the 66i. It does everything and more that the Explorer Plus, kind of like a replacement of it. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So as you know, on my channel here, I buy all my products. Hopefully someday some people will give me a discount because I'm doing all these reviews. But anyway, I buy them, have them on me so I can field test them. I don't just parrot what somebody else says and go look at other reviews. I mean, I will sometimes look at other reviews to get enough feel for something, or if I'm having trouble doing something on a device, I might. But basically what I do is I go and I test them out in the field on my own, how I like to use them, right? Here's the big deal. Getting back to the battery life. This only goes for about a day and a half, 2 days. When I was hiking the first segment of the Colorado Trail, normally I have my Mini 2. This goes for like maybe 2 weeks. Explorer Plus is around that time. Again, if I'm wrong, said something wrong, I will have on the screen here, I will have the specs on all three of these devices: the 66i, the Mini 2, and the Explorer Plus. The thing that I noticed right away when it was a day hike on the segment 1 of the Colorado Trail, and my battery life was already down at like 3/4. I'm like, what in the world's going on? I wasn't using it any different than I use any of the others. By the end of the day, I think I was down to a half or a little under half. But I was also charging it when I was getting around to the end of the trail, because my son was having trouble getting off the trail. My son and nephew had gone on through. I had to turn back. So I had charged it. By the end of the day, I still had like 50%. But 50% left when I had charged it a little bit on one day. Not good. But that's okay. If you're out for short hikes, or you're using it, you're camping, and you have the ability to charge at night or something, in your cabin, or a motorhome or whatever, that's okay. This is good. This has so much on it, but it's short battery life. So I would just caution you that if you're going to go out for a long time and you're at camp and you have no ability to charge at night, then you need to look at the Mini 2 or the Explorer Plus. Explorer Plus is better because it has the maps, has everything built into the device, and you don't have to have it synced to your phone, so you don't have to worry about charging, and it'll last for a long time. The Mini 2, this charge will last a long time. However, if you want the full function of it, you have to have it synced to your smartphone, and then smartphones a lot of times will die in a day and a half, right? So again, you have to have a portable charger even for this if you want to use it and sync it. So that's the first thing on the charger. The other things, I will just tell you, kind of going through the big items here, right? That for me, when I got this 66i, you know, I'm going to put screenshots up so you can see what I'm talking about here. But on the main menu, and I'm not going to turn this on, but there is just so much stuff on here because there's a bunch of buttons here on it, and it makes it easier to move, maneuver on the screen and get around. But there's so many things. Let me give you an example. I'm going to cut to the bottom line here for you. There's so much stuff here. It's so high as far as tech related stuff that you really got to want to know, understand your device, test it out thoroughly, and everything that has on it, you're going to have to test, and you're, because it gets a little overwhelming. I'm just being honest with you here. Even the Mini 2 can get overwhelming to some people, but I still think this is a nice kind of a minimalist device if you want to use it that way. It's not real hard to get to know. You do need to test it. There's trackback functions. I'll track back on this too, by the way. There's things on it that are super powerful, really helpful, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. Never has felt overwhelming. It only feels overwhelming a little bit sometimes when maybe I'm trying to figure something out, like how well does trackback work? What if you don't track out? Does trackback still work? You know, which is, yes, it does. It has a it has tracking that's temporary, and it automatically tracks whether you set tracking or not. Bottom line, more minimalist. Even the Explorer Plus, it has a lot of stuff on it, real similar to the Mini 2, right? So there's a lot of stuff. Got to get to the bottom line here, right? When I started messing around with this, there's so much more stuff, or it feels that way, that it was starting to get overwhelming to me. I'm like, I have never had to study something, satellite messenger, so much as I have with this. I've talked to customer service several times. It is nice on this, these menu items. What you use more, you can in the setup part of the menu, you can move them to the top so you're not looking at 30 things, right? But just to give you an example, I'm only going to list some of them. Trip computer, compass, satellite, how many satellites are in the air, alarm clock, stopwatch, waypoint averaging, sun and moon calculator, hunt fish, area calculator, share wirelessly. I'm skipping half the stuff here. Recorded activities, sight and go, bird's eye, connect IQ, active weather, recording controls, tracking, connection manager, alternative route, waypoint manager, inReach weather, SOS, messages, and setup. You get my point? This here is a great device. It's just, yeah, better take a little more time than other devices to make sure you understand it before you head out. So that's really the big thing. I could compare all the different things, and I'll show them as I list them here. But messaging, this is a weird comparison for me, because I'm comparing them to the Garmin products, right? The messaging's the exact same way. You sync your phone the exact same way. There may be slight differences, and I had to call Garmin customer service to sync my phone to this because it was there, but I had to make it forget the device. How you forget the device wasn't easy to find. But anyway, besides a few minor changes, when you message between all three, the messages look the same. When you do weather on all three, the messages, the weather, sorry, I can't talk today, the weather looks the same. When you do your maps, like the map on the computer, Explore map on the computer, how you set your routes up, if you do that, it's the same thing. You sync it to your phone. Can be slightly different, but from what I synced on these devices was the same thing. You can use the app to sync, you can plug it in to sync. It's all the same thing. So the review, the comparison here, a lot of it doesn't really matter because it's just the same. They're all three Garmin inReach products. They're all about communications, search and rescue, call and search and rescue if you need it, being able to see a map, the two-way messaging with friends and family, all that. They're identical. The devices are set up slightly different. The buttons are set up different, but they can all sync. They can, they all do the same thing. Just mechanically, things are a little different, right? The main thing I wanted to get across to all of you, though, is it's the battery life and the complexity. You don't buy this if you're a minimalist or you struggle with technology. It just takes more time, right? Battery life. These are the two main things for me. You think you're going to take this thing out and be on a long trip and not have to charge it? Wrong. If you're going to be out and not have the ability to charge, you need to have the Mini 2, the Explorer Plus, and there's other devices out there, but I'm just comparing these three today. The Explorer Plus is probably the #1 device of Garmin for communicating, for search and rescue, for maps, and being out for long periods of time with with everything. It has the altimeter, the accelerometer, it has so many things built into it, and the battery lasts a long time. It's the device for long periods of time out without being on charge. This here is more minimalist as far as weight. Still very, very powerful, but if you sync it to your phone, you have almost all the functions that the Explorer Plus has. This one here has more functions, lower battery life, so it's only going to last. I would only take it out for a day, maybe 2. If you're going to take it out for more than a day, you need to set your settings so that your screen goes black and you save power instead of just kind of going to sleep. Don't set your tracking for 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Set your tracking at 30 minutes. Do things that will preserve your battery life, and then you might get 2-3 days. I think if you're careful on the settings, because you know you're going to be out longer, I think you can get, I think it says up to 200 hours or so. I'll put it on the screen. But you've got to like really break things down. Don't be checking your map all the time. Don't be texting all the time, messaging. You can save your battery life. So that's really the big differences here. So many of the things are exactly the same. Different size, different look, but same. It's Garmin inReach product, right? I love them all. I'm just being honest with you right now. I'm still struggling as to when I go out and I'm out just hiking, hanging out with friends, fishing, whatever. Which one am I going to carry? Am I going to carry the Mini 2 or the 66i? If I came down to the 66i or the SE Plus, the SE Plus here, honestly, is not that powerful, but it's the same size as the Explorer Plus. So when you look at the SE Plus right now, just think Explorer Plus, okay? But if I were looking between the Explorer Plus and the 66i, I would go 66i. So the 66i has a bigger screen. It's got different buttons on the front. Actually, the buttons are a little similar to the Explorer Plus, because if I look at the SE Plus here, actually they are similar. So what I like though about the 66i, there are a few things on it that it says some newer technology. But kind of honestly, they have a lot of the same features. So the screen size is kind of what makes me want to go to 66i, other than the battery life on the on the Explorer Plus is so much better. But because I don't use it that way, I would probably pick the 66i. Now, whether I go with the 66i or the Mini 2, that's the big question. Because I don't like big things in my pack. I've had some big satellite messengers when I was testing out the Spot X. Really big. You have to tie it down. It's just more bulky and cumbersome, and I don't like that. Mike has the Montana 700, and it's basically for off-roading, four-wheeling, ATVs, all that. I don't like the big satellite messengers. This is so small. Again, I don't see it on my pack hardly. I don't even feel it weight-wise. It's not a big deal at all. What I do like is I like to be able to get my phone right here, and I like to pull it out, and it has a really big screen, way bigger than the 66i screen, and I can look at a huge map. Now it has to be synced, and I have to carry a portable charger for this, not this. So but when I can pull it out of my pocket, and again, this here is velcroed. It's on a backpack tether. You can buy this separately. I absolutely recommend the backpack tether, because if you drop it, right, you don't lose it. And these products are too expensive to lose. And it's not just about product being too expensive to lose. If this is your way to communicate and you're out and you lose it, and you have a life-threatening situation or something, and now you're in trouble. It's not just about the money. It's about being in trouble, not being able to get help. So I think because this device, how small it is, when you sync it, you have almost well, you have all the functions as the Explorer Plus, and everything that I need, and I don't need everything that the 66i has. I'm probably going to go back to the Mini 2 as my #1 go-to satellite messenger for how I use it, right? Everybody's different. People can argue all they want, and I'll never get into an argument with people on this site, either the website or the YouTube channel. I'll never argue with you about one's better than the other. I'm going to ask questions about how do you use it, what's important to you, and I'll try to direct you to different messengers that meet what you need, right? So it just really comes down to you. How do you use it? What do you need? And leave a question below. I answer questions all the time. Pretty much every day I'm answering questions on Hiking Emergency Beacon about people, about, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? What's better? Have you tried this? And so sometimes people ask questions like, hey, have you tried this? I'm like, no, I didn't even know it was possible. So then I'll go out, do a short hike, and I'll test it. And then if I have trouble with it still, I'll talk to Garmin customer service. So please leave messages. Let me know. Let me know what you think, and if you have any questions. But anyway, I know that's a pretty short comparison. Hopefully I didn't lose you. But it is a great device. It's just higher tech. It's just got more stuff, right? You get more minimalist on the size. Doesn't do quite as much, but it does a lot. The Mini 2 and the Explorer Plus, all great devices. They all have their strengths and weaknesses, right? So it's been great talking to you today. I know you haven't been talking to me, but it's beautiful weather out here in Colorado right now. It's July 2nd, I believe, and 2022, if you want to know the year. But thanks for joining me, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications, because about every, I don't know, now it seems like every 2 weeks to once a month I'm putting out a satellite messenger and review or comparison, and so you'll be updated when something new comes out. And I'll be buying a brand new messenger soon. I'm not sure if it'll be the Montana 700 or 750i or a different one, but I will be testing more of them out. And I may even start getting into other Garmin products that are not messengers you can't communicate with, but they're better maybe at maps and things like that. So I may go that direction. Right now the site's purely about messaging and search and rescue, getting help, and being able to talk to people. But thanks for joining me, and I will see you back out here in Colorado next time.